Hi everyone, so this evening I'm doing a get ready with me style of video and I'll be running you through the makeup look that I'm sporting tonight. It's quite simplistic but packs a punch, so I hope you enjoy. The very first thing I'm going to do is my nails. Now I wear these nails in every single video and every time I get comments on my nails. They aren't painted, they aren't shellac, they aren't gel, they're stick on and they're amazing. I use a little prep pad just to wipe down the nails and then I get sticking. So I get about 5 days out of each pack, which is why you see me wearing new ones each week, but they're brilliant and so affordable. Next, I'm prepping the skin, and excuse the mountain on my chin, the eczema on my forehead. The spot happened as a result of Pancake Tuesday, and then the eczema happened as a result of stressing about the spot that happened on Pancake Tuesday. But anyway, I like to use a primer that's hydrating because my skin is a little bit dry at the moment, and this one has a glow to it, so it'll brighten up my dull, dry skin. And I just find it really helps the base products to go on that little bit easier. While I let that settle into the skin, I'm moving on to brows because I look a little odd without them filled in. The kit I'm using today is the Beautiful Brow Kit by Kiss. This comes with some grooming tools and stencils along with 2 brow powders, a highlighter and a brow wax. My brows are already shaped, so I'm just jumping in straight away and filling the brows in. I started with the lighter of the 2 browns and I'm using this to kind of colour the entire brow, and as you can see with just a few swipes it already is making a huge difference to the appearance of my brows. I'm not being too precise with my application at this time. I'm just feathering the product through the brow hairs to tint them and then I'll start defining. So now I'm going in with that darker brown and I'm using this to add some depth and definition. I like to use this along the base of the brow and then I pull the colour up through the arch and then down to the tail. To add a little bit of extra definition, I'm taking a concealer on a small precise brush and I'm cleaning up that under portion of the brow. Brows are so personal, but I like mine quite defined and polished. I always do them first, so before the eye makeup, because it kind of makes applying my eye makeup easier to do. The brows just give me a guide as to where to blend my shadows out to. So once I've applied and blended out that concealer, I'm once again taking the darker brow powder and I'm just deepening up the brows. To hold those powders in place, I'm taking some of the wax, so I've lightly dipped the spoolie that came in the kit into the wax and now I'm brushing this through the brows. And then that's one brow down, so I'm just repeating the process on the other brow. Jumping back to the skin now, I'm going in with my foundation. Now I generally mix a couple together to get the coverage and formulation that I like. I add a couple of pumps to a saucer just because it's less messy, and then I take a cotton bud and swirl them together to combine the two. Then I'm taking the Kiss Teardrop sponge and using that to apply the foundation to the skin. So all I've done is wet the sponge, I've squeezed out the excess water, and now I'm getting to work. So I pounce the sponge onto the skin and then roll it out to apply and blend the foundation, and I just find this technique gives me a really nice, even, flawless finish. I always like to take my time with my foundation. I work in small sections and build up the coverage, and then I blend. Because I have a really angry blemish on my chin, I'm leaving that area until last, and I'm just applying the foundation in that way because I want to limit the amount of bacteria being spread around my face, kind of, if you get me. As much as I wanted to cover up the monstrosity on my chin first, I didn't want to cover it and then dab the sponge all over the rest of my face. Once I'm pleased with how the foundation looks, I'm moving on to concealer. So I'm just dotting this under my eyes first, and then I'm using my trusty little sponge again and using a clean side to blend that concealer into the skin. And the shape of the sponge really helps me to get right into that inner corner. Same as with the foundation, I like to work in sections with my concealer. If I applied it to all of the areas of the face that I wanted to first and then started to blend, I find that after I finish blending the concealer under the eyes, that the concealer in other areas has then started to set and it makes it harder to blend out. So I've started under the eyes, I've blended the concealer down my nose, and now I'm pouncing a little on my forehead. Usually I do my chin too, but because the concealer is lighter, it's highlighting the areas that I'm applying it to, and naturally I don't want to draw any more attention to my chin, so I'm avoiding that area. So to set those liquid products in place, I'm going to add some powder, and once again I'm using the Kiss sponge. And I love applying my powder with a sponge because it gives me that extra bit of coverage, and because this is an evening makeup look, you can definitely get away with it. I use all angles of the sponge, so the sides for applying foundation, the tip and the side for concealer, and then I use the base of the sponge to press the powder into the skin, and that just really locks the foundation in place and sets it for the day. Next, I'm going in with my contour shade, and this is going to add some colour to the skin as well. So I'm starting back at the ear and just blending downwards from that point, and I'm sweeping the brush back and forth in the hollows of the cheeks to emphasise them a little further. I like to use a small brush for this step, but when it comes to doing around the temples and jawline, I take a fluffier brush, one that's angled as well because that helps with the application. So I'm just blending around the temples, down into the hollows of the cheeks, and then around the jawline also. I'm jumping back to my sponge now, I have a little more powder on it, and I'm sweeping this below the contour to give me some extra definition, and then I'm patting the powder around the contour just to make sure it all fades nicely into the skin. I'll finish off the face in a few, but for the moment I'm priming the eyes now, so I'm just dabbing this across the eyes and then I'm flipping my sponge around, dipping it in a little more powder and setting the base in place. Next, I'm going in with the Kiss Winged Eyeliner. Now this is a gel eyeliner and I've made it no secret in the past that I'm not good with gel eyeliners. My preference is with liquid, but I genuinely find this one so easy to use. I work the product from the back of my hand, and that way I'm not over applying it, and by taking a little at a time like this, you're less likely to mess up. So I begin by drawing a line upwards from the outer corner of my eye, and I line this up with the tail of my brow. Then I'm hopping over now to the other eye and doing the same, and I just find by doing this first, it at least guarantees that my wings are angled the same on both eyes, and then I work from there, so that's one thing down. Similar to how I apply liquid, I'm lightly sketching across the eye with the gel, and once I'm happy with the outline, then I'm going over it and intensifying it with more product. And whatever step you do on one eye, go over and do the exact same on the other eye, and by going back and forth like this, it's much easier to get both eyes to look the same, as opposed to if you completed one eye first and then tried to match up the other. What I like about this gel is that it's actually quite fluid, unlike others I've used in the past. Usually I'd need to add a mixing medium to the gel to make it easier to work with, but I didn't need to do that with the Kiss one. It glides onto the eye with ease and it's pitch black, which I love. Once I've got my wings in place, I'm taking some makeup remover on a cotton bud and I'm just cleaning up any little mistakes that I may have made. Now you'll need to use a waterproof remover because once this liner is on, it's on for the day, it doesn't budge. Now I'm taking my contour shade and I'm just applying this in the crease. I'm placing my brush down beside the liner and then I'm blending inwards from there. And I'm just adding a couple of light layers to give me the intensity that I want. To highlight the eyes, I'm jumping back to my Kiss Brow Kit and I'm picking up that champagne highlight shade and I'm just adding this under the brow bone and also to around the tear duct just to add a nice brightening effect to those areas. Now I'm taking a black eyeshadow and I'm patting it along the tail of the wing. I'm smoking out the wing slightly and then pulling the shadow into the crease. The Kiss gel liner that I used is smudge proof. Like I said before, once that it's set in place, it doesn't budge, so that's why I'm using the black eyeshadow to give me that slightly smoky appearance. You could do it while the gel is still wet, but this way works fine as well. Personally, I just like the effect this gives, but if you aren't great at winged liner and you've messed up a wing or you can't get your wings even, by smoking out the wing and blending it into the crease, it kind of disguises that, so there's a sneaky little tip for you. Next, I'm adding some lashes, and you all know I adore the Kiss ones. I've been loving this lash style in particular lately. I just find because the Peony lashes are kind of layered that they just look lovely and fluffy and fluttery on the eyes. To apply them, I'm adding some of the Black Kiss glue, and I've spoken about this glue previously in my lash application video. White glue dries kind of shiny, so I always have to go back in with my liner and cover it up, but I don't have that issue with the black. I just pop the lashes on and I'm good to go. Best part of the time I use tweezers to apply my lashes, but I know a lot of you have commented on that in the past, saying you don't want to put something like that so close to your eyes. Well, this is a nifty little plastic applicator that comes with some of the Kiss lashes. I always keep them because they do come in handy. If you don't want to use a tool as sharp as tweezers, I'd highly recommend picking up a pack with this applicator. Next, I'm moving on to the lips. So I'm beginning by outlining my lips with this gorgeous red liner. I line the lips and then I like to fill them in. So once that's done, then I'm adding a liquid lipstick on top. And the reason I fill my lips in entirely with the liner is because if I'm eating or drinking or kissing and the lipstick fades off, it's not the end of the world because I still have that nice red stain underneath from the lip liner. So it won't really be noticeable that the lipstick is worn off. Now that I've finished with the lips, I'm going to move on to the face. I'm adding a small amount of blush to the apples of my cheeks and then I'm blending it back into the contour. And I'm just dabbing over the top of it now with my sponge again, just to make sure that the blush isn't too intense. I want the focus to be on the eyes and the lips. Finally, for the base, I'm adding some highlight because we definitely can't skip that step. Next, I'm adding the Kiss Gel Liner to my waterline now, and I'm using the brush that comes with the pot to do so. It's a really handy little brush because usually when I'm adding product to my waterline, I use one brush for half the waterline and another to get right into that inner corner, but this brush actually fits snugly into that area. While that gel is still wet, I'm taking a pencil brush and I'm just smudging the gel down onto the lower lash line, only on that outer third. Finally, for the eyes, I'm using a mascara to blend my own ones in with the false ones, and then that's it. So, quick outfit change now that I've completed my makeup look. This top is from Peony's. I think it was around the €13 mark. It's really nice, really cheap, happy days. When it comes to the hair, I'm clueless and pretty lazy, to be honest. My hair is as flat as a pancake, so I'm going to add a bit of a curl/wave. The quickest and easiest way for me to achieve this look is to throw my hair up in a ponytail. I leave a section down the front because I like to curl this separately, but then I divide my hair into a few pieces and curl sections from the ponytail. Now, my hair is pretty thin, so this literally takes me around 5 minutes. If your hair is a bit thicker, you'll need to divide your hair up into more sections, or maybe not, depending on how tight or loose you want the curls. I'm not leaving the heat on the hair for that long because I don't want the curls to be too defined. I want it to look kind of natural and effortless, and I just want my hair really to have a little bit of body to it and for it to look a bit thicker than it actually is. So I've taken the hair out of the bobble, I've curled that little front piece and kind of blended it in with the rest of my hair, and usually I'd add a few more curls where I see fit, but I didn't need to today. I was pretty pleased with how it looked. So I just add some hairspray now to hold the curls in place. Then I like to kind of give it a bit of a fluff and play around with it until I get it looking how I like, and then that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll catch you all again soon.